Hi, everyone. My name is Skyla Ramirez. Welcome to your Yoga for Everybody session. This practice will be about 1 hour today. We have some movement, some breathing, and some meditation to dive into today. So let's get started by getting comfortable in any seated or lying down position. Through this class today, you might want to have a chair close by or position yourself close to a wall or some other means of support so that we can use that for our balancing postures in the day. So as we begin in any seated position, you can elevate your hips. You can use a pillow if you're lying down. Remember that stillness is always an option. You can allow your body to fidget and shift. And really, fidgeting and shifting is really common when the body is getting more comfortable, especially if you have a lot of props around you. As your body begins to relax, it may need less support. So it's possible to start with a pillow or a blanket under the hips. And as you get uncomfortable, you need to remove those things. Sometimes discomfort comes from the body not being able to fully release. So know that you can move at any time to move towards comfort with your body. If there are any parts of the body that are achy today, any places that maybe you're feeling concerned about because of a past injury, so you might come into the practice wanting to protect some places in your body, just avoid those body parts altogether. We can work around those spaces and let those spaces have a little bit of stillness, a little bit of peace. Let's begin with the foundation for our entire practice, breathing. As long as we are breathing, we're doing yoga. This is the practice of pranayama. So you may want to put both hands over your chest or both hands down by your stomach. Let's tune into the breath in the body. It's natural for the body to respond to the breath with some movement in the chest, maybe even some movement in the stomach. We want to shape the breath so that it begins by rounding the belly and then moving up into the heart and expanding the chest. This is going to maximize the volume of air in the chest space and in the lower lobes of the lungs. As you inhale, you may want to visualize the breath, maybe just feel it, or listen for the quality of the breath. Breathe in through your nose or your mouth, flare out your nostrils to really draw that breath in with bits of effort. Inhaling big into the nose, down into the belly, up into the chest, and then exhale, slowly relax your chest, then relax the belly. So we're dissecting the breath, ensuring that we're able to fill these parts of the body with as much breath as possible before we move up through the trunk of the body. So inhale into the belly, side ribs, low back, stack the breath up through the ribs, into your heart, maybe even under your armpits. Then exhale, soften from the chest, through the ribs, all the way down into the belly, low back, and hips. As you exhale, practice exhaling as if you're going to say, aha breath. There's this breathy exhale with a heat that moves up and out from the body, releasing any tension that the body might be hiding or resisting letting go. Exhale with that ha sensation as if you're going to fog a mirror, and try keeping the lips together. So we'll exhale with this ha from the throat, and we're retaining the heat. We're retaining that breathy energy. You'll begin to hear the breath. It's going to have a sound almost like putting a seashell up to your ear. It creates sort of this hollowed and airy energy in the body. So we're trying to lighten up with this exhale, inhaling through the nose, and then exhaling ujjayi, ha breath with the lips together. Let's take at least a quiet minute, just listening for the breath. And if your mind gets distracted, bring it back to the inhale. Remind your body, we are listening for the breath. The practice of focus, intent, and awareness. Let's soften the whole body, maybe even relax your jaw, open the mouth and move the jaw around just a little bit. Practice sticking out the tongue, maybe even do a few lion's breaths to relieve tension in the jaw, tension that could also relate to the hips. Just a big ah, ah. If you are seated, please take your time bending the knees. And let's take our time coming down into lying on the floor. Sway the knees over to one side. Let's lie down on our backs. And come around with the knees bent. Let's draw both knees into the chest, soften up that low back. Hold on behind the knees or behind the thighs. Let's keep those knees nice and loose, no pressure on those kneecaps. Holding on to the sides of the legs or behind the knees, take it into a gentle rock, side to side. Massaging through the low back and hips. Let's bring it to center and still holding on to the sides or backs of those legs. Take the knees into a small circle. So naturally, we may move clockwise or counterclockwise with this, allowing the body to choose based on its own intuition. Start matching the breath to the circle. Exhale when the knees come in, pressing those thighs against the lower abdomen and belly. We're working on flushing out some toxins in the body. Inhale when the knees move away, flattening through the tailbone and low back. You might even feel your ribs come up a little bit when those knees push away. Sweep it around and exhale. Let's do a couple more with our own breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale from your throat. You might have the lips together, or you can exhale, releasing the breath, just like fogging a mirror. And maybe vocalize that ha. Sigh of relief. Let's do maybe one more. When you're ready, switch directions with that circle through the knees, low back and hip girdle. Keeping the breath easy, just noticing the sensations in the body. And then beginning to match the breath to the movement. Exhale in. Inhale as the knees move away. Maybe adding in that ujjayi breath that we started with. Inhaling, knees away. Exhale with that ha breath. Lips might stay together so we have that airy or that open sound in the back of the throat. Or let it go with a sigh of relief. If there's any tension in your back or hips, open the mouth to exhale. Let's try a couple more. Remembering as we move through our practice, the body gets to choose. The body chooses every movement as we explore physical sensation. Let's take our legs up towards the sky and roll out the ankles. Maybe even take the legs out into a straddle. Now, if you're feeling pretty comfortable with this, you could always try taking the hands away from the legs, making almost like a little cup, as if you're going to scoop water. We'll keep the fingers together, and you're going to take the cupped hands from your knee down towards the groin area. Just add in a gentle tap coming down, and then you'll go back up and tap and come down. So this is a technique used to stimulate the lymphatic system. It's a form of cupping. Cupping can be used for just a lot of different health benefits, mostly relative to healthy circulation and working out any knots or scar tissue in the fascia, connecting tissues. It can help to get excessive fluid that might pool in the lower extremities. It could help to get that to drain down to the gut region so that we can improve our immune system. Let's do maybe one more, bring it down. And now slowly bend those knees, bring the knees together. Let's put just the left foot down on the floor, keeping that knee bent, drawing the right knee in towards the chest. Hold it there, notice how the low back feels, and then maybe take that knee out to the side as far as it will go. Take the left hand, place it on your left hip, and push that left hip down into the floor. So if there is any tightness at all across the groin, the belly, or that lower hip region, naturally that left hip is probably going to come up, but we want to pin that hip down and isolate this yummy stretch across your hips, groin, and pelvis. Stretch out and open the right thigh. Exhale from the jaw. If there's any tension that the body might be holding on to, preventing this release of energy in the hips, we can release it with the jaw. So it's a little bit of a way to sort of like hijack the nervous system. Exhale from your jaw. Sigh of relief. Push that left hip down. Flex the right foot. Make that right foot flat. And now try to kick it out straight. This is going to create a different type of stretch in the back of your leg and also on your inner thigh region. You could always try to take a look at that toe and notice if your toe is lower than your heel. Rotate that big toe up or pull the heel down. And we're moving from the hip joint to do this. So this is a stretch while we strengthen the muscles that lead to pelvic stability, strengthening pelvic floor muscles. Push through the heel. Exhale from the throat. When you're ready, let's bend that knee, soften the foot, and we'll safely guide that right knee to neutral, closing up that energy in the hips. From here, lower the right foot. Let's draw the left knee in, holding on behind the thigh, just holding that knee in. This is known as Panasana, relieving wind energy. So helping us to stay more rooted, centered, and grounded energetically, psychologically, emotionally. When you're ready, take it out to the side. Take that right hand onto the right hip. Push the right hip down and still feel that the right foot is supportive in this process as well. We don't want to push too hard into that right foot. As we push into the right foot, it'll lift the hip, but we do want to stay connected to the earth with that right foot. Push the right hip down. Take that left knee way out to the side. Exhale from the throat. Let's flex that left foot, flat left foot, so that we protect our left knee, then straighten that left leg out. Now, for most of us, naturally, we will see that the heel is higher than our big toe. So to just experiment with this, turn the big toe up, pull the right heel down, and you're rotating in with that left thigh. Pressing the right hip down in case there were any subtle adjustments the body made. Pressing through that left heel. Exhaling from the throat. Big sighs of relief. Again, check in. What's going on in that left hip? What's going on in the inner thigh? If we're sensing any resistance to the stretch or any energy that's locking up, relax your jaw. When you're ready, let's slowly bend that left knee. Relax the left foot. Lowering that left foot down to the floor, knees at hips width. Pressing our hands down into the floor beside us. Let those knees sway, just a micro sway. So wherever you think your full range of motion is, let the knees sway only by 10%. So we're practicing as small of a movement as possible, giving the body plenty of time to pick up on very subtle energy shifts. Make the movement even smaller. Eventually come to a still point and then press your hips down into the floor. You can take your hands, if you make a diamond shape with your hands, so you would stretch, open your hands like a starfish, touch the index finger and thumbs together, making a triangle shape, then put the hands down on the hips and belly, fingertips down, thumbs might be over the belly button even. Push down into your pelvis, heel up the ribs, and now pull the hands back, lift your tailbone, and you'll feel the thumbs tipping back into the gut. You can even push into your stomach here. This is another type of a flushing technique for flushing out the lymphatic system in the gut. From here, inhale, push the tailbone down, pull the belly button up. Open the ribs, stretching the intestines. Exhale, lift the tailbone, press down into the gut. You might start to lift the hips a little more. Exhale, lower, tilt, ribs come up. Exhale, pull it in, contract, maybe lift the hips a little bit. Let's try 2 more like this. Inhale, belly open. Exhale, close the belly, contract, gentle lift. You could always do 1 more with your own body's breath, or you could pause. Let's eventually come to neutral with this, resting the back on the floor, taking the right arm straight up and maybe overhead. You could bend that elbow deep to protect your shoulder. Let's take just the left leg out and extend it on the floor. So we're stretching the energy that moves from the left hip all the way up to the right armpit, out the fingertips. Try finding the breath here low in the left lung, and then breathe that energy diagonal up into your right armpit and shoulder. Inhaling through the nose, draw the breath in with just a bit of effort, really becoming aware of prana, the life force that sustains us. Breathe into that left hip. Fill the lungs to your right shoulder. Smile, big smile, smile with your eyes. And then exhale, soften the right shoulder, the ribs, and the left hip. Have a sense of that energy sweeping over the body. When you're ready, let's slowly lower the right arm first, and then slide that left foot in. Adjusting the hips and pelvis, you might feel a little shift. You may even feel a little off balance on the left and the right as we're stretching diagonally. Let's work with the other side, taking the left arm up. You could bend the elbow. Maybe you keep the hand by the forehead or take it behind you. Let's extend the right leg out and down on the floor. Now, for those of us who are wanting to care a little more for our backs today, you can always keep a pretty good bend in that right knee so as to protect your low back and even protecting your hip joint. Let's tune into that sweeping breath across the body, breathing down into the right hip, through the ribs, up to the left shoulder, into the left side of your heart. And then exhale, allowing that breath to just roll out with little to no effort on that exhale. Maybe 2 more easy breaths here. That breath fills the right hip, and then it moves up and over, washing over the body to the left arm. Exhale, allowing that breath to slip away, little to no effort. When you're ready, take the left hand down. Let's bend our right knee, slide the right foot in. Let those knees sway again. Just want to check in with the back, and as energy shifts and as we shift the spine, we just want to make sure the body has plenty of time to acclimate to new sensations that come with those shifts. Now, we may get a little uncomfortable. It really is for each of us to inquire with ourselves and inquire with our bodies. Is this discomfort a feeling of harm, or is this just something new that we work through in our bodies? And only you can decide that for yourself. So just stay tuned into the body. When you're ready, let those knees sway to one side, and let's just lie on our sides for at least 3 to 5 breaths. You can pull those knees in really tight and come into a little ball. Basically, we are in child's pose, lying on our sides. This expression of child's pose has so much to offer the body, with less pressure on your knees, way less pressure on the feet and the ankles. We might even be able to find that breath along the sides of the spine while we're here. Breathing and clearing out the backs of the lungs. Clearing out the lungs is important every day at all times, especially this time of year. We are in a big shift with the seasons, going from hot to cooler temperatures. Sometimes this creates some obstacles in breathing. Everything is drier. There could be more stuff just floating in the air, as if there's not enough stuff floating in the air living in Texas, right? But this time of year, even more. So clear out those lungs, give the body time to digest and to assimilate to the new sensation of clearness. Taking a big breath, and then relax when it feels right for you, knowing where that top arm is. Let's use that top arm to come up nice and slow, stacking the spine. Let's meet in seated with the legs extended out into seated stack. So in seated stack, I highly recommend putting a bolster, a pillow, or even just, this is maybe an inch of thickness that I have here on the mat, just a little bit of elevation on those hips to provide some comfort in the low back. This is promoting a neutral low back, and that is the most common part of the body that can experience pain because of just excessive pressure and stress. Low back pain has been linked directly to tension, directly to stress. Let's relax the jaw. From here, flatten the feet again, take a little bend into the knees. Let's create a pocket of air. There's some energy that can flow behind those kneecaps. Inhale, sweeping the arms up and overhead. Imagine you're trying to climb a rope, and climb from the armpits, climb from the ribs as well, reaching towards the sky, dynamically opening up the sides of your waist and the sides of the trunk of the body. Inhale, reach at the top of that breath, allowing the fullness of the breath to just further accentuate the stretch in the spine. One more big inhale. Exhale, let's swan dive, arms to the side, bringing the hands down on the floor, beside our hips, lengthen through the heart. Imagine that the heart is trying to sweep over and up your thighs and kneecaps. We're exaggerating a seated thoracic back bend. So we're pulling those shoulders back and down, feeling the shoulders pressing away from your ears, opening up the neck as well, opening up your cervical spine. Remember to smile. If your body is not smiling, that may mean that you want to take some tension out of this. If the face has tension, usually that means the body is resisting for some reason. So check in with the expression on your face. Relax the jaw. Soften your eyes, soften your gaze. Keep the heart lengthening over the thighs and knees. Relax the head and the neck. Let's let the chin roll to the right, pressing your right shoulder, pressing your left shoulder away as your ear rolls to the right. Turn the left palm up, continuing to press your right ear towards the right shoulder, left palm up. So we're working in a nice big stretch. Breathe into that space between your left ear and left shoulder. When you're ready, turn the left palm down. Let's press into our hands. Roll along the jawline. Let's roll so that the left ear is pressing towards the left shoulder. Pressing the right shoulder away from the right ear. Turning our right palm up, drawing that elbow in close to the waist. Pressing our right shoulder away from the right ear, or press that right shoulder down towards the right hip so we can open up the side of the jaw and throat. Exhale from the throat. When you're ready, let's turn the right palm down on the floor, anchor that energy in the hands, relax, roll along the jawline, chin to neutral, and then slowly lift the chin. From here, let's slowly bend one knee at a time. Let those knees sway left and right. Seated windshield wipers. You can take the feet out wide, and this will change the stretch for the body in a lot of different ways. You might start to notice that the tailbone and the hips will start to kind of scoot around the floor as you do this. So as the spine begins to lengthen and loosen, the hips might start to slide. That's really common. That's a natural response. Just reposition yourself as needed. Let's hold that stretch over to one side. If you're stretching with your knees to the left, lift your right arm up. Look at the left hand. Turn the left fingertips to the top of your mat. And of course, if you twist over to the right, keep your right hand on the floor, left arm up. From here, let's just inhale, reach, and take that outside arm, the extended arm overhead, and reach it over. Maybe even push that top hip down towards the floor. So we're just manipulating some of the energy in the low back and hips here. Breathe into that upper armpit, into the shoulder blade. You can turn your head in any direction, really thinking of isolating the energy in the side stretch, eliminating discomfort in the neck and head. One more inhale. When you're ready, bring it through neutral. Let's switch our knees over to the other side. And again, if you have your knees towards the right, turn your right fingertips towards the top of your mat, or turn your hand away from the hip. Let's take the outside arm up and reach. Inhale, pull up through that armpit region. Keep a bend in the elbow. You could always use your fist instead, or come down onto your elbow if there's any pain in your wrist. From here, let's sweep up. Take that outer hip and push it down towards the floor. This is going to create like a little side rock or a seesaw through that sacrum region. Inhaling into the top part of your armpit and lung. Reposition the head, maybe even close the eyes. Let's feel for the breath. Let's feel for the way that the breath moves and expands the lungs so that we get that stretch in the side of the body from the inside out. We really don't have to actively stretch. We don't have to put effort into this. Instead, the breath has all the power in this pose. Inhale. And exhale. Just one more, opening up with the lung. When you're ready, slowly rock around to all fours. So lower that top arm and let's gently guide the body around into all fours position. Moving into some traditional cat and cow. And then of course, you can always adapt this so that there's no pressure on the wrist or no pressure on your shoulders or knees. So put something under the knees, maybe tuck your toes, maybe use a fist. Let's find that foundation for the body to move safely. On an inhale, let's drop the belly, unhinge from the stomach, flip the hips back, and then look forward, opening up the throat only as much as it is comfortable to your jaw and your neck. On the exhale, let's pull the belly button up, rounding the spine, dropping the neck and the head. Hold it there in cat pose. Inhale into the backs of the lungs again, inhaling into that space behind the heart. Notice how when we inhale here, again, the expansion of the lungs actually opens the spine for us. And we don't have to put too much effort into this stretch with the physical body because the lungs, all on their own, are inspired by the breath to open the body for us. One more inhale. And then exhale, soften the body. You might want to flow this a few times, inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Find a breath that complements the practice just for you, whatever works for you. If you're noticing some tightness or achiness in your back, add in a thigh contraction. So you'll relax your thighs on the inhale, pause at the top of the breath, imagine a block between your knees and pull up the muscles in the pelvis, the same muscles that you would use to stop urination, a urethral squeeze. Contract the pelvis and exhale, round the spine with the pelvis contracted. Soften the pelvis and the glutes. Inhale, gently opening the body. Pause at the top of the breath, contract. It's called Mula Bandha, the root lock. It just means contract the muscles in your pelvis. And you can contract your glutes a little bit too if that feels all right. Let's do a couple more. Relaxing the energy in the pelvis, not completely releasing the pelvis, but relaxing, softening the pelvis. And at the top of the breath, contract, roll the tailbone down and under, drop the head. Let's do one more. Release, soften through the hips. Inhale, extend, contract, Mula Bandha. Belly up into the spine, relaxing the head. When you're ready, let's find all fours and let's take a moment to think about how the body might want to make its way up into standing. There are a lot of ways to stand. One of the ways that's recommended in physical therapy and function movement, this way is recommended to prevent injury, but of course, do whatever feels right for you. We can walk our hands a little bit over to one side. So I have my hands over to the left, which is going to clear the way for my right leg to come up and around. From here, I can bring one or both hands up into that thigh away from the knee joint. And then we want to shift forward, tucking that back toe so you can push off your back toe and put the weight into that standing leg. Then you can step it forward and walk walk the hands up. Let's come up into standing, finding some expression of a mountain pose. Let's see. So from our mountain pose, let's stand with the feet at about hips width, having the hip bones line up with the knee, lining up with the ankles, shooting out the toes. Remember, at any time when you hear the term hips width in yoga, if we're practicing adaptive yoga, which is what we're doing in Yoga for Everybody, we're looking at more of a therapeutic approach, letting go of any boxes that we might want to fit the body in with yoga. So in this adaptive practice, when you hear hips width, remember, it could mean line up your baby toe or the edges of your feet with the fleshy hip, or hips width could be a little more narrow, so you're lining up the bones. Generally, lining the bones reduces injury a little more. So I don't want to say it's better, but that's where we can reduce the risk of injury, is having bones in a straight line for stability. But go where there's comfort for you. There's always exceptions. From your expression of mountain, let's inhale the left arm straight up and overhead. Open the left hand, bend the elbow and circle it back, reaching straight up towards the sky. You could always bend the elbow and take the hand overhead if that feels right, or keep that arm low. No matter where we go with that left arm, the breath is moving from that left armpit as we inhale and open the side body. From here, exhale, lower that left arm down. Inhaling, reaching up with the right arm, pulling that elbow back, dynamically reaching towards the sky. Inhaling into that upper right lung. Again, allowing the breath to create that open and expanded energy in the rib. Now it's going to open more of your hip as well. And we're going to continue to build on that. From here, let's lower that right hand down. Inhaling, left arm up and overhead. Just for today, let's tap ourselves on the shoulder rather than taking that arm up straight. And bend your left knee. So as we bend the left knee, it's going to pull that energy open on the left side of the body. And we will have a deeper contraction on the right. This could be stimulating the energy channels that help to cleanse the liver. And as we cleanse the liver, as we're squeezing and massaging the liver, potentially cleansing the blood as well in the body. This is all based on yoga energy theories. So I make no medical claims, right? There's my little liability I worked in there. We make no medical claims. Working with energy. Inhale. When you're ready, bring it through center. Let's inhale that right arm up. Pat ourselves on the back, just keeping that arm low just for today so we can isolate the energy in the waist. Bending the right knee. Now we're stretching the liver, squeezing the intestines. So if you're noticing that this creates an invasive sensation to your body, straighten the leg a little bit. Notice how when you change your body, even just a little bit, that shifts sensations on the inside. And this pose in particular can create some pressure or deep sensations in the body. And we want that intensity to be moderated through mindfulness. Inhale into that upper right lung, stretching through the side. When you're ready, slowly straighten both legs, and let's release that hand down. Turning our palms up. Inhaling, opening into a chest expansion. We can lace the hands behind us or let those hands rest at the low back in our chest expansion. Let's step our left foot back, a casual stride for warrior one stance with chest expansion. Having our left foot back, we're bending that right knee. Inhale into the heart, big chest expansion. Pull the ribs up, maybe even lift the chin a little bit as a natural extension of the spine. Exaggerate the inhale around your heart. Let's clear that energy out in the front of the chest. The front of the heart is responsible for giving, for acts of service. So as we open through the heart space, ensuring that our acts of service through the day come with a pure intention, with unconditional love. Big inhale. Exhale. One more. You can stay right here and clear that energy out in your chest, clear out the lungs, or straighten that right leg. Lift the hips, push those hips back, lead with the heart, and relax the head and the neck, lowering down into our pyramid with the chest expansion. Some of you are very familiar with this movement, and you know that you can release your hands anytime. This can create another type of sensation in the spine. It could create a little more comfort. Let's all shake our head yes, and turn the head left and right. Press into the inner blades of the feet, press into the outer blades of the feet. Pull up through the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. Keeping Mula Bandha, release the hands, chin into the chest. Exhale all the way. Now let's take a big breath in. Pelvis tight, chin in. On the count of 3, we'll act surprised. Exhale all the way first. 1, 2, 3, surprise. Navel in and up. Navel energy moving towards your heart. Release that contraction. When you're ready, bend the right knee a little bit. Let's walk the hands up onto our right thigh. At that point, flatten the back, neutral spine, safely bearing weight into the feet. Walk the hands up and come to center. Let's center the body, step to the top of the mat, mountain expression. Give the body a little time to shift left and right, forward and back. Let's anchor our energy in the soles of the feet. Give the body and the mind time to feel completely centered energetically. Let's add in some flying arms from this centered place. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Big breath in, reaching. Exhale, take those hands back and around. More chest opening, even with the breath, clearing out the fronts of the lungs as much as possible. One more. And then exhale. Let's turn the palms up, bring them behind you, chest expansion. Again, we could always stack the arms if that feels better. Just notice if you're stacking your arms, wherever they naturally go, switch it out. So we want the arms to experience different stacking if we're stacking arms. From here, let's take our right foot back, a casual stride, casual warrior one stance. The longer the stride, the greater the risk of injury. The more we step that foot back, the more pressure it puts into the hip. That's an anatomical fact. So if you're having pain in your hips, make that stride a little more conservative, like a very baby step type stride to protect your back. From here, let's bend that left knee, bowing out the chest, 3 expanding breaths. Exaggerate that inhale. Pull the breath into the body. Open up the chest. Pull the ribs up and pull the shoulders back and down. Exhale from the throat. Sighs of relief. Inhale, chest expansion. Exhale, release. One more. Option to straighten out that left leg, tilting the hips back. You could keep the hands where they are or take the hands away now to provide that sense of security to the body. From here, we lower the hands, lower the head. Shake the head yes. Turn it left and right. Maybe even stick your tongue out for a second. If there's any energy, any tension hiding in the back, we may feel that energy now, either releasing or resisting the release. Exhale from the throat. You're welcome to lower the hands, chin in towards the chest. Exhale all the way, Mula Bandha. Pull the muscles up in the pelvis. And then 1, 2, 3, surprise. Navel in, pull the navel towards your heart, under the ribs. When you're ready, release that contraction, soften the whole body. Now, if you're still experimenting with that surprise breath, you're welcome to try it again. That little 1, 2, 3 surprise, that little contraction is in the navel, known as Uddiyana Bandha, the belly lock, Uddiyana Bandha. From here, release any belly contraction. Let's walk our hands up onto our left thigh, supporting the trunk of the body, lengthen through the spine, unlock the hips to lengthen. Look forward, and now walk the hands all the way up. Let's come into standing. Position the body so that the feet are at hips width. Let's find a strong mountain expression. Shift side to side, forward and back to the inner blades and outer blades of your feet. You might even want to do one foot at a time. Sometimes when we're on both feet, it's harder for us to really sense maybe where there are tender places in one part of the foot. Sometimes it's just too much going on, and we need to isolate that energy in the feet to really notice what the body is telling us for proper foot care. So roll it out. It could be one or both feet at a time. From wherever you are, let's take a moment and think about what foot might be more comfortable to stand on. So we want to start standing on the leg where the body feels the most comfortable. When you're ready, stand on that one foot, and we can put our hands on the hips as we lift the other leg into this gesture that's a lot like a flamingo. So let your body choose left or right, lifting one leg and maybe placing a hand on a prop or some means of support to enhance that sense of security in the pose. From here, let's take that knee out to the side, and you could hold the heel to the inside of the leg, away from the knee, avoiding any pressure on the inside of the knee or in the top of the kneecap. If it feels more comfortable to cross it over, we can cross the ankle over the shin, or maybe give that leg a little boost and bring the ankle on top of your thigh. Now check in with the standing leg. Let's soften the knee in that standing leg. We're just holding it here in our standing upright balancing pose today. Breathing easy, maybe even closing the eyes. And as we close the eyes, we might notice that the body begins to sway a little bit. There are new muscles that are recruited when we take away that attachment to vision for balance. They have this saying, I'll believe it when I see it. They'll say, see it in your mind and believe it. Close the eyes, see the pose in your mind. See yourself balancing perfectly, perfectly balanced. Breath and body in harmony. And smile for that. Fill yourself with gratitude for that. When it feels right for you, open the eyes. Let's anchor our gaze for some security. and then release that leg out. And maybe do a little cha-cha, just in case the knees got locked up. Let's take our time and do the other side. Position the body with a means of support. Stepping into our other leg, lifting. Option to open heel or foot on the leg, and then option to cross it over, pigeon or figure 4. We could keep our hand on our means of support or try taking it away. And of course, at any time, close the eyes. Closing the eyes can naturally create a little bit of uncertainty for the body. You know, we may be quick to call it fear, but maybe we replace that with uncertainty. Just that feeling the body says, I don't know what we're doing right now. And that little bit of a quiver or shake or that sense of imbalance, that's just the body being curious. So what if we just close our eyes and know that you have support and just trust the body, even in these moments of uncertainty, knowing that we're safe and it's okay for the body to be curious. It's okay for the body to sway or to quiver a little bit. Breathing easy, soft bend in that standing leg. At least 2 more easy breaths here. When you're ready, open the eyes. Let's anchor our energy and step both feet into the earth. Little cha-cha. Shake out the knees, shake out the hips. All right, let's take our time thinking about how we might want to come down to the floor. Based on functional movement, I am going to demonstrate one of the most common ways that we suggest going from standing to seated to protect your joints. So first of all, if you have some sort of support, that can be really helpful. From wherever you are, let's bend both knees. Step 1 foot back, staying high on that toe, and then slowly begin to bend down. I have a hand supporting on the thigh, one hand on a prop, and then maybe both hands come down to the thigh. You can walk that foot out so that it's space here for us to come down to the floor, and then swing that leg back and come back into seated on the floor. Let's maybe grab a pillow or a blanket to put underneath your hips. And today I'd like to give you the option to end class in seated meditation or to go ahead and lie down. So it is really common for us to end class in Shavasana, in this corpse pose where we're lying down on our backs, but that doesn't always work for all of us. Surely, you know, we all live very different lives and we might need really different things to round out the class. So if you'd like to experiment with seated meditation today, grab something like a pillow or a blanket and put it under your hips. If you're lying down, of course, get comfortable, lie down, get comfy. From wherever you are, hands can be on the chest or on the belly, maybe even down on the floor, palms up or down. No matter where we are, let's feel that the chin comes in just a little bit towards the chest and soften the expression on your face. Let's practice in this short meditation just awareness of moving the senses, the 5 senses. So first, let's be aware of our sense of touch, of feeling. Perhaps imagine that you are in a bodysuit, a perfectly fitted bodysuit. This is our skin, of course. And as you inhale, feel the breath expanding or creating this element of expansion in the bodysuit. So the body is expanding, it's stretching with the breath. And as we exhale, we contract and that bodysuit gets a little more snug. We might even feel the whole body hugging up against our internal sense of self. So even the stomach gets a little tight, the intestines can get a little bit of tight. So this sense of feeling is on the outside and on the inside. Inhaling expansion, the lungs expand, the skin stretches with the breath, and we maybe inhale and pause and have a sense of the energy expanding beyond your physical body. Holding on to that feeling of openness as we exhale naturally, we may feel some contracting in the abdomen or in the belly, and then the skin just hugs gently against us. Let's notice now our sense of smell as we inhale in through the nostrils, noticing any smells around us without judgment, without judging, just noticing any fragrance in the air. Having the eyes closed or open, the sense of sight, peering out beyond the tip of the nose. So we might be peering or seeing with insight or physical sight. You can open your eyes anytime. Let's move our jaw around. Maybe even click the tongue. Sense of taste without judgment. Now listen, just listen for the breath. Noticing any sounds, letting go of any judgment. The difference between sound and noise is judgment. So there are no noises around us. There are only sounds to be interpreted by the nervous system, sounds to be digested. Breathe in through the senses, in through the nose, the mouth, the ears, the eyes, and the skin. Taking in the world through all of our senses, and now let it all go. At any time during the day, if you find that you're getting stressed or overloaded, maybe even you check out or have brain fog. The brain can be overactive or underactive. And if you notice that you just are craving a little more of a centered sensation, bring that awareness again to the senses. Eyes, nose, mouth, hearing, skin. Think about what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you see, what you feel on the outside and the inside. From here, we can close, and you can place the hands anywhere on the body for closing. Let's draw in a few unifying breaths together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling from the throat. Bowing together. From any closing gesture, namaste, everyone. Enjoy your beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time in our Yoga for Everybody session.